everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today on Totallybeads. Happy New Year. It seems like it's been ages since I've seen you. I know a lot of you really enjoyed the 12 days of Christmas, so that's great. A lot of people like the fact that there wasn't much chatting. You got straight onto the make, but I've really missed talking to you. So Happy New Year. I hope you're all really well. I hope you've been busy and keeping happy. So today we are doing some kumihimo, which will be making some lovely little friendship bracelets. If, like me, you're a beginner to this, it's a really, really simple make. There's no beads unless you want to add beads to it. We're just going to be looking at different ways of making a lovely spiral effect. And making them adjustable as well, so you can gift them, because after all they are friendship bracelets. So good morning to you all. Good morning to Celia. She says morning all, happy new year. Good morning to Elaine. So I see you all coming in now. I'm going to take you over to the website and have a little look at the different colours that you can choose from today, different beads that you can add. There's loads of different things that you can do with this. So without further ado, if I can remember what I'm doing, how do I share my screen? It's been such a long time. So let me take you over to the website. So you know the drill. Totallybeads.co.uk. You can come into video tutorials at the top and click on the little logo, and you can see it's a friendship bracelets that we're doing today. So there are loads of lovely diamond large hole beads. You can add beads over the top of these, but they do need to be large hole beads. Your braids probably come in about maybe 3 millimeters. So you need to make sure that whatever you're adding will fit over that comfortably. You've also got your kumihimo foam disc. Now the round one is perfect for this technique that we're doing today, making this spiral. There are square ones available as well, and that's what I'm going to be using today, but it works exactly the same. And these are all your gorgeous sparkly metallic thread. Now you can use lots of different cords for this. It's commonly made with silk or rat tail. These make a really lovely, delicate, fine and glittery bright bracelet, and you can turn them into necklaces or anything that you want with these as well. So you've got your metallic thread in blue, which is your 0.7 millimeters. You've got it in a dark silver, gold, purple, beautiful turquoise. I'm using the turquoise and the silver today just to demo with. But obviously, the more colours that you put in there, the various different patterns and effects you're going to be able to make. So if you want, you can get this amazing bundle, which is just $9.99. So definitely get the coloured threads. I think it looks best with 2 different colours at least. You can make it with one, but it's going to show the detail in that spiral if you use more than one colour. So the bundle is definitely worth getting there. And these beads are just gorgeous. I'm a little disappointed I didn't have these in my stash, so I haven't got them to hand with me today, but look how gorgeous they are. All sparkly and very, very pretty. That's just going to add that extra little bit of something onto your bracelet. So they're gorgeous, and they've got a nice large hole in them, so they'll easily go over your bracelet that you make, and they're full of sparkly rhinestones, and it's only £1. So they are what's on offer for you today. You can, if you want, you can buy end clasps. You could buy keyring hooks for these. You could even buy a clasp if you wanted. But all I'm going to be using today, really minimal materials, is literally just the thread and the disc. If you haven't got one of these foam discs, I do suggest that you get one, because I might hopefully be able to show you a few different patterns and variations you can do with these in the next couple of weeks. They're really straightforward and simple to use, and it gives a very, very lovely look. So there you go. So that's the website. Let me say good morning to you all, and then we'll get straight on with it. So good morning to Celia and Elaine. Good morning to Charlotte. Good morning to Sue. Sue says, morning Natalie and the lovely Beading family. It's so lovely to be back with you. I've missed you so much. Good morning to Rachel. She says, good morning, everybody. Nice sunshine in South Yorkshire. Looking forward to this. It's bright here. Don't know how cold it is. I'd imagine it's cold, but it's nice and bright here too. So hopefully we won't have too many shadows on my mat. I am expecting a parcel, a happy parcel from Totallybeads. So please excuse me if the door does go. I'll be literally a minute, but I might need to get up. Camille says, good morning, blue skies, hooray. So it looks like it's sunny where you all are. Good morning to Carol. She says, morning, Natalie and our Beading family. Lovely sunny day here in Brixham. Good morning to Jitty. Good morning to Mina. Good morning to Lucy. She says, good morning, you lovely lot. And she shares the link for today's tutorial. Thank you very much for that, Lucy. Good morning to Aline. Good morning to Jackie, Judith. Lucy says she struggles with kumihimo. This has been something new to me. I'm still learning as well. So I've made sure I've picked a project that anybody can do. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. You don't have to worry about adding beads on at certain places. It's just a beautiful, simple braid. And there's some lovely pinky purple colours, I'm sure, there for you as well, Lucy. So have a little look on the website. And, you can use the rat tail for this as well. There's loads of different colours of rat tail. That'll probably be slightly quicker to do because it's thicker. But I just love the metallic thread. I think it looks really pretty. I'll show you them in just a second. Good morning to Pamela. Good morning to Angela. Good morning to Anne. Good morning to Sheila, Lorna, Linda. Oh, everybody's here. Celia says it's not so sunny in Bolton. It's getting really blind in here. I'll probably be like this soon, squinting at you. And good morning to Susan. She says, good morning, Natalie. Friendship bracelets are going to be a blast from the past. They're just really simple to do. You don't have to have them as friendship bracelets. You can keep them for yourself. Let me take you down to the mat and let me show you what we're working with today. So as I say, kumihimo is a traditional Japanese art form. It's about making cords and braids. It actually means gathered threads. So we're interlacing either reels of yarn or silk or rat tail. I'm using the lovely glittery metallic thread today. So I'm going to be using some of this. You get loads of this as well on your reel. So you'll be able to make numerous ones. Hopefully you've got lots and lots of friends because you'll all need one. I'm going to be using the square plate. Now on the website is the round disc. The round disc will probably be easier for this project. So if you haven't got one, get one. It doesn't matter whether you get the square one or you get the round one. The round one, they're all different in terms of, they might have different number systems and lettering systems on them. You can make the spiral using the square disc, but usually it's for making kind of round, more flat, kind of ribbon-like braids. So this one here, this is a practice for me. I'm going to have a little go again and check my tension on this one. I think this one is called unigumi, which is basically like a chevron braid. So if you get the square one, you'll be able to do more kind of flat designs with that. The round one today will probably be easier to follow. It'll have little spots, one at the top, one at the bottom, and one either side. And I tend to use them as the focal to where you're going to position your cords. But as I say, whichever way you're working, whichever board you've got, you could make one yourself, but for the price of them, these are going to last you a long time. You're going to be able to do an awful lot with these, and they are reasonably cheap. So get yourself a board if you haven't got one already. So you can have loads of different slots and numbering systems with these, and therefore you can make lots of different types of structures depending on the number of cords that you use. This one has 10 cords, I think. Today we're going to be using 2 different colors and 4 strands of each. Now, usually in terms of your length, you're going to need approximately 3 times the length of what you want. So if you know how long you want a bracelet to be, then you just times that by 3 in terms of your length. If you are making, I mean, these look really, really beautiful as necklaces. You can, make a long one of these and add a pendant onto it. I've made it with a macrame clasp, so they are adjustable. So that means you don't have to worry too much about size. You can actually buy a clasp if you want to make one with a toddle. You can do it that way. There's so many different types of things you can do with these. I've also made some keychains using some of the gorgeous sparkly crystals of Totallybeads. And I've made this one too. You can use end caps on these. I would probably get a smaller end cap with this gauge of thread personally, but this was just what I had to hand. I've popped on a few little beads and dangles at the bottom of that and made myself, can you see this? Here's the sunshine, isn't it? I'm going to be all shadows on my mat. Very, very simple little loop just to tie onto that gorgeous hematite heart, which are also on the website. So you can make all sorts with these bag chains, key rings, necklaces. Today we're doing the friendship bracelet. So we're going to end up with this lovely spiral effect. And it looks quite intricate and difficult to do, but I assure you that it's not. Is there enough light on my mat? Is that okay for you? It's been such a long time since I've had my setup because, to be honest, this room's been full of toys and Christmas presents. So yeah, I'm hoping that the sound's okay and you can hear me all right and you can see me okay. Good morning to Victoria. Lucy says it's sunny, but it's freezing out. Mina says she's never made any friendship bracelets. Mina, these would be perfect for you. I know you make and sell a lot of your jewellery at like school fairs and things like that. I think little ones particularly would like these, but they're pretty enough to be worn by adults as well, I think. Hello to Penny. Angela says, not being outside or even open the blind, suffering from tooth extraction on Monday. Right side of my mouth is swollen. I'm feeling very sorry for myself. Sorry to hear that, Angela. Stay in, keep warm, and have a little play with these if you've got this to hand. Good morning to Kitti. She's asking how everybody is. Everybody's sending you love, Angela, and hope you're feeling better. Hello to Atia. Hello to Joanne. It's quite dark at the bottom of the screen, says Sheila. Right. Let me see. Wonder if I change the light on my... That doesn't make any difference, does it? Let's take this off. Do excuse me. Let me see if I can get a little bit more light. I probably have too much light soon. Is that any better whatsoever? It's not much, is it? Just knocked over my coffee as well. It's not going well for me today. Right, let's see this. I've got some nice bright coloured thread, so you should be able to see it okay anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my square shape board. As I say, if you've got a round one, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to take 4 strands of each colour, so I'll have 8 strands in total of my gorgeous metallic glittery thread, and all I'm going to do is pop my ends together. So today I'm working with the blue. It's kind of like a turquoisey colour. It's stunning. And I'm also going to be using the silver as well. Now I've cut quite long lengths with this. If you want to, you can, I mean, if you were making a necklace, You could wind these onto a bobbin if you wanted to. Oh, Sheila says it looks fine now. Thank you. That's a relief. So yeah, you could wind them onto a bobbin if you want. That's just really if you've got really, really long threads. So if you were making a necklace, they don't tend to get too tangled, she says as she's tangling them up. What I've got here is a little, it's called bobbies. They're really good. You open them up, you can wind your wire onto them or your thread or whatever you're using, and then just close that over. But I haven't used them on this project. It's not essential, especially not with a bracelet. So all I'm doing here is I'm putting my ends of my cords together, and I'm going to leave quite a little bit of a tail because we want to make an extendable bracelet. So I want to have a little bit of length here for my clasp. And I'm just going to do a very simple overhand knot and bring all these threads through together. I won't need any sewing in this. If you were using little end caps on them, then you possibly would want to have a little needle to hand as well. But these, you don't need anything other than your hands, your thread and your kumihimo board. So I've just tied them in a little knot and I'm going to thread them through. Now, if you want, you can pop a little weight on the back of this as well. Again, you don't have to, but it might help with the tension. I think all I'm going to do is add them on to a little key ring at the moment. And that's just going to keep it weighted down for me. So I'm popping them through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring two colours up. So I'm going to bring my blue ones up and I'm going to put them positioned at the top, so north. And I'm going, as I say, depends on what board and what number system you've got. I'm just going to pop 1 on 5 and 1 on 7. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do the same. So this one on mine is 5 and 7. But as I say, you might have letters, you might have something different. And then I'm going to put the silver cords or my other colour on the east and the west. So I'm just going to open them out. So on mine, it's positioned B and C. Well, as I say, if you've got the round disc, you'll probably have lovely, helpful little spots, and you can position those cords either side of your spots. Kitti says Simon is adding the square kumihimo disc to the website. We'll be there in a minute. Thank you very, very much, Kitti. As I say, the round one will do. This was just what I had to hand. And I thought if I had the square one, I might be able to do a few more designs. So I've got these positioned very simply, like so. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this top one, which is in number 7, and I'm going to bring that down. So it's now on number 8. And I'm going to take number 5 on the left side, and I'm going to bring that up so it's sitting next to the top one. So it's now at number 4. And then I'm going to give it a turn. So now I've got the silvers at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to do that again. So I'm taking on the right at the top and bringing it down. And I'm taking the left at the bottom and I'm bringing it up. And I'm giving it a turn. And all I'm going to do every now and again is just run my fingers through those threads so we don't get too tangled up. So it's top to bottom, bottom to top, and turn. So if you've got a round disc, that will probably be a little bit easier to follow because you're not going to have, you're going to have slots all the way round. So that will make it a little bit easier. But if you've got the square, it works exactly the same. I'm taking one from the bottom and moving it to the top and then turn. And here comes the sunshine. Do I need to turn? Maybe pull the curtains across. We'll keep going and see how we get. If it's causing an awful lot of issue, do let me know, and I will try and fix this. Do you know, I swear it's never the issue until we get to like 10 o'clock, and then it all goes lovely and bright. So it's literally just repeating that process. The top one comes next to the bottom, and the furthest on the left on the bottom goes to the top, and then we turn to the next colour. Because this one's new, I'm struggling a little bit to get in my slots there. So whichever is next, the hole, that's where I'm putting it. So top to bottom, bottom to top, and give it a turn. And it is as simple as that. What you're doing as you are crossing these over and turning them is just interlocking these threads, and it's going to make that spiral effect. So I'm taking from the top and taking from the bottom. Just going to run that through my fingers a little bit. So if you ever stop and you're not sure which side you're working on, which is next, when I'm using the square disc, can you see with this light? When I'm using the square disc, you can see these threads are running kind of parallel next to each other, whereas these are coming in closer together like a little V. So it's the ones that are at the little V, which I'm using next, and the ones that I've just done should be running over the top of those. So then I'll give it a turn and carry on in that direction. So I'm going to do this a few more times, and then I'm going to show you how this is building up. Really straightforward. Taking one from the top to the bottom, taking the left to the top, and turn. Right goes from top to the bottom, left goes from bottom to the top, and turn. Right, I'm going to go and try and close my curtains, if that's okay with you. It is, Camille says, being the first nice day in ages, don't scare it away. What I'm going to do is, because I'm coming to a stop, and obviously, you know, you might need to go and put the kettle on, go and mop up the coffee that you've spilled, whatever it is, I always just bring one down, so I know the one with 3 is the one that I'm working on. Please excuse me. I'm going to sit in the dark next week and see if that makes any difference. Is this better? There's still shadow. There you go. That's a bit better, isn't it? Oh, you know, back to it as usual. Right, where was I? Rachel says, I tend to leave one side with 3 threads on. Well, this is what I've got here. So I know the one with the 3 is the one that's going up before I turn it. So it's a really straightforward process. You'll get into a little rhythm and you'll be able to speed up. You can do this watching television or whatever it is that you're, you know, doing these days? Watched a few different films over the holiday period. To be honest, it's been really, really chilled, really relaxed, really quiet, very family orientated. But for me, it went really, really quickly. I don't know if anyone else felt the same. So each time I'm bringing one from the top to the bottom, I'm taking the bottom to the top and I'm giving it 10. And again, right from the top to the bottom, left to the bottom and the top, and give it a 10. So we'll keep going with this, and then I shall show you how it's starting to look. So I would say you probably get maybe about an inch, half an inch in length, maybe every 5 minutes. It depends how quick you go with it. I'm trying not to do it too quick, because although it's just a very simple process to repeat, I do want to make sure that my instructions are clear and that you're following okay. If you need to, you can give these a little tug if they're, not too taut, if you need to reposition them. But this is what we are doing to repeat. So I'll show you now if you can see. That's starting to build up on a little spiral. Again, if I do stop, I tend to bring them down so I know I've got my 3 and that's where I'm up to. But you will be able to tell where you're doing next, because the ones you've just done should run over the top. Lucy says, Christmas came and went super fast. Did anybody get anything nice in terms of crafting things, other than your 12 days of Christmas at all? Did anybody get any nice new hobbies? I got some new tools. Well, they were for my birthday, really. My birthday is the same week as Christmas, on the 19th. So a lot of my presents blur into one, to be honest. I'm always like, did I get that for my birthday? Did I get it for Christmas? But I got some nice new cutters and pliers. I was very spoilt. And as you could tell with me struggling to close the curtains, I've got lots of toys. Father Christmas came and spoilt my little boy. He has a lovely car which he rides on. It's like electric, so it runs with the push of a button and it plays music, and to be honest, it's better than my car, my actual real car. So we've gone for a few walks. He's gone for a few drives in that so far. He loves it. He's made up with it. Doesn't go very fast, but really surprising how far we've got out of it. We've not had to carry it back so far. We've done pretty much every park with a straight path or a like tarmacked path for miles. But we're being a little bit more adventurous and going on a few different terrains. Ooh, that's a lovely gift, Pauline. Pauline says she got a Totallybeads voucher, which is nice. Have you decided what you're spending it on yet, Pauline? Lucy says, love it, it builds quickly, I'm going to try this. It's really straightforward, Lucy. She also says that she got lots of craft stuff. She got diamond art and painting by numbers and lots of bead stuff. Lovely, how nice. Question, how do you decide what numbers you put the threads into the top and the bottom? Is there a system? It looks random. Angela, if you've got the round one, there'll be spots usually on it. It really doesn't matter. Right now, I'm not paying any attention to the numbers or the letters. Each disc, depending on who it's made by, will have, as I say, a different number and slot system. So all I wanted to start with was, I've got one here to show you, 2 colours running at the top. In fact, let me turn it sideways so you can see. If I just move this round a little bit. Okay. So all I wanted to start with was 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom in the same colour, and 2 at the side in the same colour. So I was just putting them next to each other in the centre. So for me on my disc, it works out at maybe 5 and 6 or 6 and 7 round there. And each time I'm moving, I'm just popping it into the slot next to it. So because I'm using the square board, even if you're using the round board, it's going to go round. But because I'm using the square board, it looks a little bit more complicated than it really is. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the one that's on the left and bringing that back up next to the next slot, whichever that's on. And then I turn it half turn, so I'm on the next colours. And I do the same. So we're here now at the moment. So I'm bringing that one down to whatever is next to the bottom one. And then whichever the left is on is just going to go back up to the top next to whatever this one is. So this has got the letters on the side. So right now I'm not paying any attention to the numbers and the letters. I'm just turning, moving the right from the top to the bottom and the left from the bottom to the top, and then giving that a turn to work on my next colour. Does that make sense? Oh, thank you for the stars, Charlotte. That's very lovely of you. And Pauline says, not yet, but I will. I don't know what you're having a chat about there. Now, oh, when I've asked you what you're spending your voucher on. Okay, please let me know if that doesn't make sense, and I will try and explain it again in a different way. So all I'm doing is I'm bringing the right thread from the top to the bottom, and the bottom on the left side to the top. And then I'm twisting and doing exactly the same. So top next to the bottom one, left on the bottom, next to the top, and turning. So it is just this repeated process. When you start doing, I don't know, maybe, for me, it's not necessarily looking at the letters and the numbers. Even when I've done it where I've done like the chevron braid, it's the pattern I'm making with the wire, with the thread rather. So I just tend to, sometimes I'll split the board in my head. So I'll be working on the left side and I'll be working on the right side. So far, and I am new to this, so there may be patterns where I do need to remember what numbers go into what. This is just kind of helpful, I suppose. So when I'm explaining it to you, I can say right now I'm in a 6 and a 7, but I don't think it particularly matters. Angela says it definitely makes sense. Thank you. That's a relief. I'm glad you're following. It is really straightforward. Once you've done this a few times, you won't really be paying attention to what you're doing. Sometimes I zone out a little bit and just have to be like, am I doing it right? But you are. It's very easy. So Anne says, as I do this, I repeat in my head, down, up, spin. Yeah, exactly. the numbers aren't being used and may be confusing, you can use a disc with the plain reverse side facing up. That's a good idea, and yeah, if the numbers and the letter system throws you off, flip it round and it doesn't have it on the back. Please, can we have a session for the chevron bracelet? Ali, we definitely can. I'm hoping I've only really done it once, so I'm gonna try and master it again and make sure that my tension is right and it's looking a little bit prettier. And then I'm going down to the warehouse in a couple of weeks. And I will pick some gorgeous colours together and show Kitti what I've been practicing. And if she gives it the go ahead, fingers crossed, yeah, we'll definitely be doing some more kumihimo. Lindsay says she loves kumihimo. Lindsay, if you've done this before and you've got some lovely patterns, please share it in the group. Oh, I'd already done that one, and let me know where you're up to. Now, I knew I'd already done this one because remember I said the ones I've just done are running over. Can you see that? So these are already running over, and I tend to find when I'm using the square disc, they're running more parallel to the ones I'm doing next, which go into a V. So I did say when I stop and I'm distracted, I'll bring the extra one down so I know the one I'm up to is the one with the 3. And I didn't do that then, but I can still visually tell where I'm up to. Victoria says, I think of the basic pattern as points on a compass, north, south. Yeah, or a clock even. Yeah, I did the flat chevron on purple and silver, says Celia. Ooh, please share in the group. Let me see. Right, okay. Let's do a few more of these, and then I'll show you how it's building up, and then we'll look at how we're going to tie it off and finish it. So again, turn, top right to bottom, bottom left to top, and turn. Top to bottom, bottom to top, and turn. And that is the little mantra type of thing that I'm repeating. Top to bottom, bottom to top, turn. Top to bottom, bottom to top, turn. So, when you get comfortable and confident with this, you can add beads to it, and you can make all sorts of different patterns. You can add multiple threads. And there's so much you can do depending on how many cords you use, what colours you use. This is, I would say, the simplest, but one of, I think, the most effective looking that you can do. So if you are a beginner, this is perfect for you. I do think it looks lovely when you add some beads onto it, though. I'm definitely going to be getting some of those that are on the website, because sometimes I find I want to add beads, and even though the bead itself might be quite large, the hole isn't too big, and you can struggle to get them on. The ones on the website have got a really lovely large hole, so they'll fit on really nicely. And obviously, because they've got those lovely sparkly diamantes on them, that's just gonna look lovely with the sparkly threads that you're using. Okay. I need to let mine dry and cut first, but looking forward to having a go. Let us see what you do with yours. Okay, Angela, challenge accepted. Oh, Sue says she's got a really good book of different designs a few years ago. If I can find it later, not necessarily today, I'll put a link on the group page. There are lots of useful resources on the internet, like probably Pinterest and definitely YouTube. There is a book, is it Christina Larson? I think she's got a kumihimo book. I would like to try it with wire as well, because you know what I'm like with wire. I did have a little go at this braiding pattern and it wasn't working. I wasn't getting the tension right. It may have been the gauge of wire I was using. But I would like to try some wire bracelets using kumihimo. I don't know. I'm just getting a bit of ahead of myself now. You know, I find a new skill, like it, and feel like I need to do it numerous times until I've perfected it. So let's do a couple more of these and then I will show you how it's built up and how I finish mine off. But if you are wanting to look at something a little bit more advanced in terms of your kumihimo, you know, you may have done this before. I know Kitti and Sarah have done tutorials on it. So, and they've used beads with theirs as well. So if you go on to the tutorials, you can go into search by technique and you can type in kumihimo, which is, I think, spelled Kumihimo. And they will have different tutorials there as well that you can rewatch and follow along with. So if you want to go the next stage up and you want to do a beautiful beaded one, then have a little look at their tutorials. And you may find that they explain it in a completely different way, which just makes sense to you. Okay, so let me show you how this is looking. It's got that lovely spiraled effect on it. Lucy, I hope you have a lovely day. Take care. Oh, Celia's added a picture to the group. Brilliant. Okay, so if I am making a key ring, I might find that this length is perfect to what I wanted. Obviously, if I'm making a bracelet, I would keep going with that. But we'll be here for quite a while if I'm to show you that. So it's the same technique, as you know, as I've shown you, going up and down. What I'm going to do is, to finish, I'm literally just going to tie these ends together. So I'm going to take off my silvers and I'm going to tie those together in a little knot. And then I'm going to take my other colour, mine being the blue, and I'm going to take those out the board and I'm going to tie them together too. Take these ones off. And then I would just finish like I started with a little overhand knot. So obviously this would be much, much longer if I was making a bracelet. So I've got my threads coming off. I'm going to hold them together in my hand and I'm going to do an overhand knot, bringing all those threads together. And I'm just going to slowly push that knot down into the position where I want it, which is going to be quite close up to the end of my braid. And then if you need to, you can pull each one down individually just to make sure that they're all nice and tight. So it will look similar on both ends. Now, I've done one here where I just added a bead on before tying my knot on each end. And I've kept this open like this because I'd like to show you how I've made my little adjustable clasp. So for this, I'm just doing a really simple macrame knot. So I'm going to use my board again, and I'm going to use the corner of my board, and I'm going to put my threads through one of the slots and bring them over to the other side and put them in the slot on the opposite side. And then on this side, I'm going to do the same, bringing them back so I can use this. If you've got, I don't know, a shoebox or something, that's really good to use because you've got that space underneath as well to work. But all I've done is just put my bracelet ends through the board like this. I'm just reading your comments. I think you're talking about maybe gifts that you've received. Okay, so then I'm going to take, should I use a different colour just so you can see it? No, I think I'm going to stick to the silver that I've used here. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of my metallic thread and I'm going to position it underneath all of those cords. So all of these cords from the bracelet are now acting as one cord. Is this clear? Can you see? Natalie just looking on a well-known delivery with a smile site, and there is a book on kumihimo wirework. Oh, there you go. Fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing, some refer to it as their P's and their Q's. So I'm going to start making this little loop, and I'm going to bring this side of my cord underneath all of those and back through this little loop here. Let's do that again. So I've got my P, I'm bringing it over, under them all, and I'm going to tighten that down. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm making my loop across. I could have done with using a different colour thread, I think, so you could see what I'm doing at this bit. And I'm just doing those macrame knots. So we're doing a square knot. So we're doing it on one side and bringing it through and making my loop on the opposite side. So you will see there'll be a little loop, and that's so you know what side you're working on. I do apologise that on this background using the silver cord you can't see it too well, but I'm sure most of you know how to do this technique. So all this is doing, I'm probably going to do it for to maybe make about an inch long, maybe, or half an inch. I'm not going to tighten it too much because I want this to be able to move, so to speak, so it will be able to move up and down, or my cords through it can go up and down rather, and that's going to make it adjustable. So I'm just going to repeat, bringing that through and swapping over sides. So I've done half square knot, and then that's my full square knot. It doesn't have to be too big. I'll do a couple more. I do find using the metallic thread, it can be a little slippery on each other. I don't know whether that helps or or not, but it gives this really pretty, can you see, effect. I was told this was minding your P's and your Q's. Yes, sliding knots, Camille. So that's how I remember to do it. If I'm not sure which side I'm up to, I see where the little loop is on one side, and I know that's the one I'm doing next. So if you're wondering what people are referring to with their P's and the Q's, it's making this P shape over here. So as I bring this cord, it's very difficult to do with my fingers in the way to show you. And I'm just tightening that up. And then the next side I do it is going in the opposite direction. Some people say that looks like a Q. There you go. I will leave it as that, I think. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trusty clear nail varnish, the old gloopy one that I'm not using on my nails. I've not got anything on my nails today. And I'm just going to dab the corners of that thread. Take them off. I don't want to put too much on. I just want to seal the ends because, as I say, if I put it on in the middle, that's going to stop this sliding not being able to slide. So I'm just putting a little bit on the corners, or the edges rather, of where, let's get that into shot. Just going around this bit and that bit, just where the ends of those threads are. And I'm going to leave that to dry. If I cut it before it's dry, it will unravel. So I'm leaving that to dry for now. And then you can do whatever you want with these ends. You can add beads to them. You can tie them individually. You can tie them all together. It's entirely up to you, but wherever you put this kind of knot or stopper in the thread is where your sliding knot's going to be able to open up to. So for now, I'm just going to tie these off together. So I'm bringing all of my threads together in a little easy loop. And then I will be able to trim off those ends. You could do whatever you want with these. You can pretty it up with beads or whatever you fancy. You can pop a little bit of glue onto those knots as well if you want. And then once this is dry, I'm going to be able to cut off these two threads. And then what will happen is if I need to tighten it up, I just pull them together. And if I want to make it larger, as I say, it's difficult to do while it's still wet, but I will just bring those back up and I can make that very, very large as well. So it's really simple to do, and it's going to give you this lovely little spiral look. So if I bring these ones in that I've done already, you can see this is just using two different colours of thread. Now, if you were to pick more than two colours, you'll get a completely different look again. You could use one colour, but I think having at least two is going to show this gorgeous spiral. So here I've just used the metallic grey and silver. I've used the metallic turquoise and silver, and I've used the purple with the gold. But there are lots and lots of lovely colours. I did have a black one. I thought I made a black one. So very simple friendship bracelets. As I say, you can add clasps to these if you want to. You can do the simple macrame knot like I've shown you. You can make them very long, and you can put them as necklaces. I think they make really pretty chains. You can make key rings. You can do all sorts with them. And they are very straightforward and simple to do, and I think make a really lovely, twisted, delicate look. So let's see what I've missed in the comments. Look, what's going on with my lighting in here today? I now look like I'm sitting in the dark, don't I? Sue says, I find it useful to put a dab of nail varnish on the end of the thread I'm working with. That will keep it nice and sturdy for you there. So, I just dropped my mouse. Oh dear me, it's been a morning, hasn't it? I've got back to it. Dropping things, I've spilled coffee all over the place. Charlotte says she thinks it's really cute, and Alison says those are fabulous. So that was it today, just nice and easy, just to get me back into the make of it all with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really have truly missed just chatting to you all. So yeah, dropsy day. Oh, isn't it just? I'm gonna, I mean, the good thing was I wasn't two fingers and thumbs when it come to actually doing the make. It's just all the technical stuff around it and day to day that I'm struggling with, Camille. On Friday, I will be back with you, and I think we're making some lovely rings on Friday. So do tune in for that. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely rest of the week, and I will see you on Friday. So take care, everybody. Love and light, and quite a little bit of shadow.